good afternoon, and welcome to the Happy Half Hour. I'm Leigh Kubin.
I'm Sandra Priestley. Welcome to the podcast. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
You'll never guess what I'm drinking.
Decaf.
No. I am going to be, I was just saying, I have had a little bit of a cold and I have this super concoction. I take cold FX as soon as I feel the sore throat. And these babies, these vitamin C fizzy tablets. Oh, wait, they're vitamin C and zinc now.
Oh,
Orange flavor. So I am going to drink these. I think you're supposed to have one, but I have two. And like they are the best little things.
how do they taste?
They taste so good. Just like,
Really?
kind of like Minute Maid or,
Okay.
reminds you of childhood.
Yeah.
But my drink will turn like bright orange and it just feels so soothing on the throat. Like it is so good. So good. First sign of a cold, these little fizzy vitamin C's.
Okay.
So this is what I'm having today. And yeah, happy half hour with vitamin C and
Well,
zinc.
I should have talked to you earlier because I would have gone and picked some up because I too have been sick with a cold.
Yeah.
So, but
We both
I am not doing all that because I don't have it here. So I'm drinking some peach water, little HEB peach water.
not good to have alcohol when we're sick. It's not going to help things.
It's not going to help anything.
But yeah. Okay, so tell me about your week.
It was an interesting week. I know it was a good week, but to end last week on a Friday, I got a phone call, and it was a woman that I do some volunteer work with, and she is with this organization, and they need a speaker to speak to like 75 to 125 women. She wanted me to come speak, and she gave me 2 dates. She's like, "We can do October or we can do November." And I was like, "October, like, I'm not pushing this out."
I want to know what you're going to speak on. Or is it a
Well, this
surprise?
is interesting. So it is a women's group that they, with their sons, they volunteer in their communities. And so it's like this 4-year program. It's all of high school.
Wow, cool.
And they're trying to teach their sons leadership skills, like being a part of the community, giving to others, and being compassionate human beings. And so my first thought was, well, what do they want me to speak on? Like, I mean, I'm going to do it, but,
Yeah.
and can't even believe I'm telling you all this because I haven't even discussed this with her. But
Surprise.
surprise. But so she started talking about how some of these kids are really fearful about going to school
Hmm.
with all the gun violence and not knowing, what if it's us? What if something happens? What do I do? And immediately I got so excited because there's so much that they can do today, right now. And the first thing is, be nice to people. Like when you see someone that is different than you, reach out to them. I mean, I'm not saying be best friends with them, but talk to them, get to know them. Stop having this, and I will not use these words, but those are not my people, because we're so divided. Yet, if we get to the root of who we all are, there's so much that we have in common. And so simply by engaging with their classmates, by creating a space where everyone is welcome,
Mhm.
that's a little thing that they can do now on their own, just by being nice. But on a little bit bigger scale, what can they do as a group in their school to
Mm.
promote that? and really get the kids brainstorming. What can we do? What can we do now? Because they can plan on going to college and law school and going and being a congressman and passing laws to make things different. But that's not going to change anything today.
Yeah,
And they have so much power, but more than that, they have to see moms doing it too.
exactly.
You
Mhm.
know, it starts with what they see at home. And so to be able to get a group of women thinking about how can I be more inclusive in my community and what can I do on any scale to bring people together and show love and demonstrate that to my kids, and then who else will want to be a part of that, and how can that make a ripple effect,
Mhm.
is so that's where I'm going. I have a lot of work to do. I've got an outline I'm working on, but it got me so excited to think about the power that these kids are going to feel when they realize that they do have the ability to make an impact today. They don't have to wait till they're grown-ups and they can put laws into place and do these things. They can do it now.
And it's a ripple effect, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not the huge grand gestures
Mm-mm.
that even matter the most sometimes. It's the tiny little things. It's
Yeah.
the, you know, comment to a random person in the grocery store. Wow, that is a beautiful shirt. I mean, probably a young boy is not going to say that, but I mean, I'm
Right.
thinking, right? Like just
But
being
moms will.
someone. Exactly. Like just doing that. Just a
Yeah.
tiny little, wow, do you ever look great today? It matters.
Yeah.
That matters. And then that person will lift up and then maybe she or he will pay it forward too, right? It's like a pay it forward
Yeah.
project, really.
And I mean, I'm thinking, what kind of things could they put together in school, in the school today?
Yes. Because I got to tell you, I mean, we don't have, thankfully, we don't have the gun violence that you have in your schools.
Hmm.
Um, or in general, we don't have
Yeah.
that to that degree. Um, but man, I see an awful lot of bullying in the schools. My kids just graduated high school within the last, 2 and 4 years. And they had some shitty years, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And even now, I see my daughter has been going through some things with a couple of classmates. And I just think, where did we get? How did we get here?
Hmm.
Because I see so much meanness on social media, passive aggressiveness, little backbiting comments. And I just don't recall that being what I experienced to that
Well, we
degree.
didn't have social media, and they
Exactly.
weren't as likely to say it to your face. Now, they might talk about you behind your back, and there might be notes written, but you wouldn't see those because it
Exactly.
wasn't plastered somewhere publicly.
And that's the thing. I think it's that the hurtful stuff that used to be said behind our backs
Yeah.
is now said publicly on social
Yeah.
media for us to see with intent for us to see, because that is definitely what is happening for her, or
Yeah.
a few things. And luckily she is strong and she's self-confident, but she got there, she earned it. She had some moments in
Mhm.
middle school and high school that were really tough. I think all kids probably do, but wow, it seems hard to be a kid these days.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so much to be fearful of that I wasn't scared of
Mhm.
growing up. It's just like we're just putting so much pressure on these kids. And I think we're trying to fix things from the outside, but it's not working.
Mhm.
Oh, but if they
Well,
could shift just a you bit,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then that can spread. What could
Yeah,
that do? These
exactly.
kids have more power than they know. And
Yeah.
once they realize the power that they have to create something different and to see things differently
Yeah,
right now,
exactly.
not only will it shift their current experience, but what will it lead them to?
Yeah,
You know, when you get on that
upsetting.
little breadcrumb trail
Mhm.
and you start picking them up, it's just,
I
oh.
know.
So I'm super excited about that. Paul, he's going to be traveling for work. This is new responsibilities. So proud of him. And it's not going to be all the time, but there's one specific project that they're wanting to send him to Chicago for here shortly. And I'm like, oh, helpful people activated. Boom. And then
Exactly.
Saturday morning, Cuban out. You know, I was flying high Friday night in the vortex, just feeling so excited, working on my outline, thinking about, you know, different ways I can explain. Because you can't say, well, you just need to walk in there and know that you're always in the right place at the right time.
Yeah,
That's
right.
not, you know, and really looking at how these boys could shift things. And so, I'm feeling like, woohoo. Saturday morning, I got whatever Easton brought to the house and then gave Paul. And it knocked me for a loop. I'm
Mhm,
normally not down as long as I was. But what I noticed is that when I'm down and I feel like shit, I start looking at other things that make me feel like shit.
mhm.
And I started seeing things I was resentful for, just things that I was kind of angry about or frustrated about, and feeling it in my body. And I was like, oh, this is where you're going to take this. Okay. And then I kind of started talking to myself, going, what do you want? I want to feel better. Well, looking at that's not going to make you feel better. And bitching about this isn't going to make you feel better. And so I started going, okay, I'm sick. I am where I am. I need to breathe. And, I'd listen to some Abraham. I would have my Hertz music playing. And it all of a sudden occurred to me, it's not them that needs to clean up. It's you. What do you need to clean up in your life, in your thoughts, in like things that you do that you don't want to, like, what can you tighten up in your life and focus your energy there? And then I went, oh, hell. So it was a philosophical illness, but I swear it stems from that room. I really,
Oh, I mean, really helpful people. So you've got a referral to speak to a ton of people.
yeah,
And then Paul travel.
yeah,
It, it's like, yes, you activated helpful people travel and
yeah.
you got
Boom.
like so I love feng shui so much
I know.
because I just think it happens every time. And activate a space with intention for it to bring you whatever it happens to be.
Mhm.
Change that space. You will see it happen in your life. And every single time I think, whoa, what the fuck? That's so cool. And then I
Yeah,
go, oh, of course.
of course.
Every time it's like it's shocking to me, but I am expecting it and it's not shocking.
Right. It's like, wow, but yay.
Yes, exactly.
But
Ex-
you also talk about, because I remember when I was doing my career area and you're like, oh, the shit's getting ready to hit the fan. I
yes.
feel like that's what happened more
Mhm.
so with the helpful people in travel
Yeah.
than any other area. Although when we painted the whole house, we did get COVID. So there's that. But but it was super mild COVID. Like I was still painting with COVID.
Yeah.
It, you know what I mean? But so I feel like the shit kind of did hit the fan. But I
Mhm.
think it's so that it can help me to clear out my own blocks and bullshit
Mhm.
to really open that up.
It's like everything that you experienced was holding you back.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what it feels like. It feels like I'm ready to let go
Yeah.
of some things that are holding me back. I had a hypnotherapy client come in, and she looks to her family for approval for everything. And they have some very different beliefs. And she is really questioning what she believes,
Mm,
and and is so afraid to be who she wants to be. So she's got to be someone with them, and she's ready to shed, but she doesn't know how. And I think she's about 60.
okay.
And she's like, I can't talk to my mother about this. She's too old. Like she can't, she might have a stroke and die. And it's like, you don't have to be specific about
Mhm.
anything, but be authentically who you are. Y'all are all talking about the same thing anyway. At the core of what you're saying the same thing. You're just coming to it from two different angles. Talk about what the commonality is. And it got me thinking, I'm in the same boat of
Mm,
just not having conversations and kind of being distant. And I'm thinking, well, why are you doing that?
yeah.
You're seeing the turmoil that this woman is in at 60. You've got 10 years. Come
Right.
on, Leigh. And
Yeah.
that's what I love about my patients and clients. I learn from all of them.
Me too.
Even when it's not the same thing, it's the same thing.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
It's like I can always relate. I can always relate to something that you said on this podcast, to something that my kids are going through, or my
Yeah.
husband through, or my clients go through. Like I can always relate, and thought, shit, what, like, think about my business, think about relationships, think about like how much energy you put into something, or the momentum that you have. Like even in business, I think about my posts, right? I get going and I'm posting and I'm posting, and I get a lot of new followers and engagement. And then I shit the bed and, go have a sandwich. And all of a sudden I've got no momentum. The momentum leads to a shitty mindset. And then me thinking, fuck, I don't know what to write. I don't know. I don't know what I'm
Yeah.
going to post. I'm going to post anything. Fuck it. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Where
momentum,
when you're
everything.
in it, you're building. When
Exactly.
you're in it and you're getting that feedback, it's, oh, do this. It's that breadcrumb. Do this, go here, go here. And yeah. And then we stop.
Yes. And it's like dieting too, right?
Same thing.
It's like it's the same in everything. It's in decluttering. You know how many clients I have that are like, "Oh, I was decluttering and I was working on my house and then I just gave up." I was working on this course and then I don't know, I had a day or I felt sick and so I didn't do anything, and then I lost interest. I don't think I'm going to finish it. Like, man,
Yeah.
we
The
discount
big,
momentum.
mhm.
We don't consider how important it is that we keep it going and how it links to our mindset.
Oh, yeah. I think the most impactful moment that I've had, I'm not going to say in life, but it's up there, is when we were doing this podcast. Lily was going through stuff. There was stuff going on at my place of employment. There was one other thing. It was three things.
Mhm.
And I remember just kind of like, "Ugh, I'm angry." And then this voice goes, Leigh, you're the common denominator.
Yeah.
And then I was like, shit.
Mhm.
Well, I don't have any control over Lily and Eric.
Yeah.
And I don't have any control over what may be happening at work. And I don't have any, like, And then I started going, but what do you have control of? Oh, you have the control of your attitude and the things you say and feel and think about these situations. So that's when I began every morning before my feet hit the floor, got my meditation with Abraham every
Mhm.
day.
And
And
you still do that every day.
I'm going to tell you why.
I love
Because for 2 weeks I did that. And then something shifted. And one of the things that shifted was that Eric was doing drugs and driving my grandson around high. And Lily found out because there was a birthday party that he wanted to take him to, and Lily didn't want to let him go. Mother's instinct. Here I am going, Lily, he's taking this kid to a 1-year-old's birthday party. Like, are you really going to be that petty?
Mhm.
Okay. Made her doubt her own instincts. We'll talk about that later. Turns out they were doing cocaine at the birthday party for a 1-year-old. And he drives him home. And he's acting super weird when he gets here. But I was just thinking he was nervous to be around us because he had a new girlfriend and maybe he was embarrassed. So I didn't think anything of it. Well, the next day, Lily's like, yeah, he was doing coke. And I'm like, are you sure? Like, is this real? And she showed me the text where he was like, it's just like having a beer, except you're more alert.
Oh, dear.
And it was this clear, Lily, we have to go to court. If he takes Easton and something happens to him,
Yeah.
we're liable because we could have stopped it and
Yeah.
we didn't. And it was uncomfortable because I love this kid.
Hmm.
So that started it. That was about 2 weeks in. And then I start getting questions from my boss about things that were going on. And I said, what do you want to know? We talked for days.
Yeah.
And whatever the other situation is, don't remember it. Less than 2 weeks later, we go to court, we get the custody taken care of, and the problem at work is gone. All on the same day. And whatever that third little thing was that I don't remember resolved itself. That's on a Friday. On Saturday morning, I wake up and I went, oh, I can relax. And then something in me said, really? You don't see the magic that has taken place in maybe the last month? Everything has turned around and you're going to take a break? That's what you do. You dig yourself out of a hole, you get there, you rest, you fall back in the hole instead of continuing to do what you're doing, that little amount of effort every day to see
Hmm.
what that momentum could take you and where you could go.
Absolutely.
Okay, 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 okay. I haven't quit since.
And I think that, well, this is like me with journaling.
Yeah.
This is like me with even like my workout. I think I have always had to, in order to continue with something that I've taken on, like journaling, like working out, like a diet, like whatever,
Mhm.
always focused on the momentum of it and the commitment to it and the consistency of it and
Yeah,
not the outcome.
correct.
Because
Because the outcome takes care of itself.
the outcome, it just happens.
Hmm.
But if you're focusing on the outcome all the time,
Yeah,
on like day 12, you're gonna go, fuck this shit. That outcome isn't coming.
yeah.
So I'm gonna like,
It's too much. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, let
it's not
me tell you, and this has nothing to do with my momentum, but it's been a year and a half, not quite a year and a half since all of this went down. And I just want to report that Easton's father went to rehab, is living in a sober living house, and has been clean for over 6 months.
Oh,
So freaking proud of that kid. Like,
no kidding.
so proud of that kid. And I often think, if I hadn't drawn a line in the sand like we did
Mhm.
and said, this is not acceptable,
Yeah.
he might not be here, you know? And I think he has a shot now.
Yeah.
So there were so many more benefits. So that it sounded like a sad story in the beginning, but it's not. I don't think it's going to be a sad ending, because he's got a new chance at life.
Yeah.
So yeah, this momentum and the things that we do today matter, and we need to continue, whether it's our diet or our business or our husband, our love life, our friendships, our passions.
Yes.
It
Every day.
every
With
day.
and like focusing on the journey, focusing on the consistency being the success.
Correct.
Because when you focus there, then you feel successful in the moment
Uh-huh.
without an attachment to the outcome and when it's going to fucking happen, what
Yep.
you want to look like, because who knows? I mean, it could end up way better than you ever expected.
And it usually does.
It usually does, but
But when
man,
we hyper focus on this, a number on the scale.
right.
I had a lady today, and she's like, Leigh, I want to lose 3 pounds this week. This lady is not going to lose 3 pounds in a week. Like, she's not going to, she's older, her metabolism's slower. Like,
Mm,
she's not 100% strict. She's not going to lose 3 pounds. And I said, we don't have weight loss goals. We have
mm,
goals of sticking to plan, because
yeah,
when we stick to plan, that's when it happens. And
yes,
that's how you measure your success. You don't measure your success by a number, because that's when you get defeated.
exactly. Exactly.
Yep.
Even when you've achieved so much,
Yeah.
to diminish it because you haven't hit the goal. Like we forget, like we shoot for the moon and we're going to land among the stars. But if we're only focusing on the moon, we don't recognize the stars that we've already achieved.
And looking at where we came from, where we
Yeah.
are,
Yes,
and
exactly.
let our mind sort of explode on that
Yeah.
for a
And
minute.
that's like that book that I did not read, but read the blurb on it, called Gap in the Game. Like, because then we're focusing on
I
the
think
gap.
I did read that book.
Did you? Was it good?
Yeah. And I'm trying to remember it, but I think it was in the phase where I was reading like a book a week.
Oh boy.
And so I've already, like, it's
It's
in
gone.
there somewhere, but
But, instead of focusing on the gain, like where we've come from and how far we are or the progress, like, we focus on
yeah.
the gap,
Yeah.
where how far we have to go. And
Oh,
that
we
just fun.
lose our focus at that point.
Absolutely.
Instead of celebrating the hell out of, look at where I am. Am I where I want to be? Nope. But I'm not where I was.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly. I
I
think
think
we're out of
I think we're out of time too. Yep. This was good.
oh,
But
thank you.
yes, thank you, Sandra, and thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next Thursday on the Happy Half Hour. Bye.